This was supposed to be an easy first short film. It wasn't. Hey guys, my name is Alex, and today we are going to be talking about my very first attempt at making a short film. More specifically, about how me and my friend tried to make a Star Wars short story in an under construction building. So, the film that I was trying to make was called The Upper Floor. Now, the upper floor follows two Jedi on a mission to retrieve an object from the upper floor of an old Jedi outpost. This turns out to be easier said than done, resulting in the two being injured and sent from the second floor to the first floor, forcing them to get creative, ultimately making it to the third floor. They find the object revealed to be an ancient holocron. However, despite no one else knowing about its location, it is nowhere to be found. Going into this, it seemed to be a simple task for a very simple short film. However, that was not the case. So for this video, I would like to share some of my on-set experiences as well as a lot of the stuff that I learned, because I did learn quite a lot and it was a whole lot of fun on set. The most glaringly obvious issue I ran into was being more prepared. And that's not necessarily in an equipment standpoint. It's rather, this idea came to me in a very short amount of time and was not built on very well. The opportunity to film in the building was offered to me like less than a week before I was doing it. And so I needed something short, but something that would fit in the time constraint that I had. So this is the idea that I came up with, and it was not super fleshed out when I went there. So it definitely needed to be more fleshed out because it changed a lot unnecessarily through improvisation and random ideas when I was there, and rather it just needs to be locked in from the start, and what I make is what I make from that. Now, one of the best stories that came from doing this was getting locked out of the loading bay. So for the starting scene, we come in through the back door and into the loading bay area. However, as we were doing a scene coming out of the loading bay room, the door locked. Now, this was terrifying for a couple reasons. Half of our equipment was in that room, and this was the only way in. And the other issue is that my school stuff was in there, and this was a Sunday. So, I had to go to school the following day, and I couldn't wait for somebody to come with a key on Monday to get the lock open, because I would need to have my school stuff already. So this was pretty terrifying, and it led to a crazy sequence of events. Essentially, my friend, his mom is the one who's working on the building right now and allowed us to go film, which I am super grateful for. Now, because of that, she also has a key to all of the doors. So we head back to his house, which is about a 30-minute drive from the building, and we get the keys from her and a plate of bacon because she is just so great, and the bacon was absolutely delicious, so thank you again. But then we get all the way back to the building, and we're hungry. We're still hungry, even though we had a plate of bacon. So we get Jimmy John's, which is attached to the bottom of the building. So you can get into the building through the Jimmy John's. So we go in that way, grab some Jimmy John's, and we are ready.
I asked for Sprite and they gave me clown juice.
Food break, how you feel?
Sick.
Alright, that's true. Got the Jimmy John's with a whole lot of lettuce. However, before we could enjoy our delicious Jimmy John's, we had to go make sure that we could get that door open. So I get to the room, and no such luck. Now, unfortunately, I didn't record a whole bunch of this because I was kind of stressed out at the moment. The next thing we do is we try the master keys and all kinds of stuff. There's a bunch of keys on here, and we try all of them. Now, I remember that there is a keyhole on the back door entrance. Now, last time we tried getting in with the key fob, and it didn't open the door. However, I thought maybe the keys would work. So I go outside, I use the key, and I tried every single key on here, couldn't get the door open. So I come back to my friend Gavin, right? And he's still trying stuff to get the door open. So this is what happened.
Basically,
This door shut while we were both in the hallway, and it locked us out. We didn't have keys. We had to go to his house, get keys. We got all the keys. We tried like 1,000 of them. None of them work. Even the master key doesn't work.
And then Gabby, go ahead, tell him.
Gavin found this metal wire here.
Yeah.
And we used it. We threaded it through, and we used it to pull and push this open, and we got through.
Yeah, we did.
It was absolutely ridiculous. So now this is staying out here. Oh, and Gavin's cold. Gavin's really cold. He's ill. He got goosebumps. Yeah. Thank goodness we got the door open. I was so relieved. And it's so weird because on Saturday, we had come through that door hundreds of times. And on that day, Sunday, we had come through the door hundreds of times. But the one time that we were ready to shoot the scene of us coming out of that door, it was locked. So crazy luck. Or unlucky. So crazy unlucky right there. However, finally, we did get to enjoy our Jimmy John's in a more finished room of the building, and it was very good. Now, this hallway area actually led to my next big issue, and that was the noise. Now, I knew that since the building was under construction, there were going to be some noise issues, but I didn't really learn how to handle them, and I probably should have put more time into that as well. Like, for example, there was this really loud fan in the bathroom in this hallway, and I didn't realize until after we were filmed halfway down the hallway that it was a fan that like a box fan you could unplug. I thought it was a fan in the ceiling or like the AC, which was an issue in the other room, but not nearly as bad. So halfway through that hallway scene, we get it unplugged. And so the audio for the first half of the scene is just complete garbage because it's literally just the fan. And it's really, really loud. So that led to a lot of missed audio and just a couple wastes of time here and there. Now, the bathroom area wasn't the only area. It was just the worst spot because it was something I could have fixed but didn't. Now, a lot of the other rooms did have that hum to them that was like loud from AC and heating and things like that. And especially with the open area we used, it was very, very well heard, especially in that top floor room that we were going to use as the room for the big reveal. Speaking of this third room, I ran into quite a problem with time. You see, we only had Saturday and Sunday, and we could have come back next weekend, but it would have been quite the hassle to do so with all the equipment I had brought and trying to find a time that me and my friend Gavin were both available. It was just going to be very difficult. And so assuming that I could get the rest of it done under such time pressures was my own mistake. And so I rushed a lot of the rest of the scenes, and it led to a lot of poor coverage and a strange amount of missed audio. So that time constraint really caused a problem for the both of us just trying to get it done instead of really trying to get quality out of those last couple scenes, especially because that room had some of the most important scenes in it. I'm not sure how many funny moments I'll be able to pick out from the grand total of all the footage that we have. However, I know that there are a couple in there, so I'll just play some of those for you real quick. All right. Ghetto microphone job. We got the shotgun mic cord clamped on the audio recorder. It's fine. This is crazy. We got a camera over there. We got a camera here. We got a light there. Crazy microphone job up here.
It's not crazy if it works.
That's true.
You gotta hit record.
I did. I got that.
Huh?
How's your experience so far?
Pretty good.
With the Doritos, you're good?
I'm really hungry though.
Yeah. he ate the whole bag. Anyways, the last problem that was glaringly obvious to me was the poor shot coverage. Like I said, I wasn't super prepared for this filming, and while I had all my equipment, I didn't shot list anything, nor did I have the scenes perfectly planned out. And so I really didn't know what I was filming, and because of that, it led to very poor coverage. And I think for my next film, however big or small I'm going to make it, I'm going to try to plan out as much of the shots as possible. And I'm also going to learn more about the rules about that, because I have read about a couple different strategies about starting with your master shot and then going in closer for each thing and doing the same scene multiple times. And while obviously that will take more time, it gives me plenty of coverage to work with. And so I think that that is something that I probably should pursue and learn kind of how to manage that. But I think that this project here specifically made that issue, or lack of capability in my case, glaringly obvious. Not to say that all the shots that I got were bad. It was just that obviously with the shots that I had, if something was wrong I didn't notice on set, there was no other good footage I could use. We didn't get a lot of additional coverages, like multiple takes, which I knew was going to be an issue, but like I said, the time crunch. But some of the scenes, you would catch yourself looking at the camera when you didn't realize, or some of the scenes you would catch yourself doing something, like maybe you were standing a weird way or looking a weird way, or making a face that you didn't mean to. You see what I'm saying? There's a lot of possibilities that you just didn't notice on set, and now I don't have any extra footage to use. So it's not that all the shots were just really bad and I needed other ones. It's just that if there was a mistake, and some of them were bad, it's just they weren't all bad. If there was a mistake, there was no extra covers. There was no master shot to fix any of that. I do want to talk a little bit more about looking at the camera and some awkward acting, because both of which were in abundance for this filming. Now, our awkward acting was mostly because, I had never acted before, and my friend has done some acting, but not this kind of acting. It's been like plays and things, not like actual film or on camera stuff. And so it led to us both being a little awkward, and it felt awkward at the time, but I didn't realize just how awkward it actually looked. So that's just kind of being new to acting. However, looking at the camera was quite the issue. And here are just a few examples of us doing that. And there were so many more. Anyways, I'm not going to be releasing this film because while I knew it wasn't going to be perfect, it didn't even meet the low expectations that I had. However, like I said, I have learned a lot of things from this experience. Specifically, the first thing I learned was making sure that everything is prepared before filming, especially a shot list. While I'm not good at making them, the only way that I can get better at that is to make them. Next, the biggest thing that I noticed was scouting for audio interference problems, like the fans or the AC systems, looking for what is avoidable and what isn't, and learning how to deal with it on set as well as in post. Next was also keeping an eye on the time and not trying to crunch the rest of the scenes into the time that I have left. Waiting to film the rest may be tedious, but it would have brought the quality up by so much had I just waited and edited what I had, noticed what was missing, went back, filmed what was missing, and filmed the rest, and gotten all the audio and video that I needed. And finally, having poor coverage was likely partially due to not having a shot list. It would also help to learn a lot about coverage techniques, like getting master shots and moving closer after each take, getting mediums and close-ups and inserts, and doing the scene on multiple occasions and getting multiple takes. And all of this knowledge is extremely valuable and will hopefully boost the quality of my next film by a lot. While it didn't come out good, it was my first attempt at direction, and I think that the experience is going to be very valuable for the future of my filmmaking on this channel. I would like to thank my friend Gavin for putting up with all the chaos of those 2 days, especially since he had a cold towards the start of the second day. I would also like to thank his mom for letting us use the building and for that delicious plate of bacon. I mean, it was so good, and the pieces were huge. Anyways, this was the behind the scenes of the upper floor on set, And I thought about making a release of the behind the scenes video for the editing of this short film, but I think that it would be redundant in what I've learned and all of that kind of stuff. But if you're still interested to see it, let me know. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. God bless you all, and I will see you in the next video.